Okay, let's go live to Kuala Lumpur. Mario Arturo Ruiz Estrada joins me. He's a professor of international economics at the University of Kuala Lumpur. Welcome to you, Professor. It's good we have an expert on economics because there's a lot of finance involved here. So this bill, as I understand it, it's going to cut some taxes. Those people will be happy. It's going to spend lots of money on areas like defence, the military contractors, they'll be loving that. Border control, that will appeal to Trump's base. But it's going to cut money back in areas like health programmes. So who would you say are the big winners and who are the big losers if the bill becomes law?
Well, the big question is who is going to cut tax? I think it's going to cut tax to the rich people. But the poor people in the United States, if they remove all the social programs, for example, subsidies or medical care, it's going to generate a big trouble for the people because the poverty in the United States is going to increase more several times. United States in big trouble. Now we have inflation in the United States. Remember the tariff, now we have the border problems that we have in the United States. They have the big problem that the labor become expensive. If the labor become expensive, logically, the products become expensive for them. One more thing is moving all the resources for social programs to military programs, border programs. That really, my concern is that all this budget is moving to the arms or guns companies who produce massive, huge amounts of money, and then it's going to generate a big business. You remember that NATO now and United States, they are very closely to sign that all Europe is going to put 5% of the GDP to buying guns and arms from United States. Look like everything is very well ensembling and can see clearly that who is paying the broken plates is the poor Americans with low income, because they're going to suffer in the pinch of less programs who really help them to reduce this poverty. But now with this new package that is taking what actually Democrats did this for the Americans and the low income, now they are removing and they are giving the chance to remove all the resources to the large guns companies in the United States. Really, I'm very sad and I'm very worried. And remember that United States, they have inflation, several inflation, plus poverty. We're going to see that they're going to have a social problems in the United States. For example, it's going to increase the violence and crime, because logically, when poverty is the favorable conditions to generate these issues, for example, violence and crime. Now, the big question is how the Americans with low income is going to survive now, because they have inflation plus now less social programs. For example,
Mario, what you're explaining there is Donald Trump not hurting the people who got him elected here? Is that not attacking his own support base? And is that why we're seeing some of the Republican politicians considering voting against it, because they're worried about getting re-elected?
Yeah, because actually I feel it's a mess now in the Congress. It's a mess because some groups support Trump, another groups not support Trump, and the Republicans. I'm not talking about Democrats. And they know that this one is generating a political crisis in the United States. And then it's generating a kind of chaos in the long run. Remember that the United States depend highly on immigrants, that really there's the cheap labor to generate good services and low prices. And really now with this blocking of borders, plus the Americans now in a very critical point, because now we need to see the global context. Now we have global inflation, and United States is in this process of global inflation for tariff. Everything is connected. If you see very clear, first is tariff, and now we got discuss about cut tax. Tax to who? To the rich people. But the middle class continue paying tax like normally they are doing. It's really benefit one group, but damage more of the large part of the population of the Americans. And this one is going to generate more poverty and more social conflicts to the United States. And really it's going to make a big trouble, because when the social problems come in the country, it's going to generate a conflict. And the conflicts always has violence. And I tell you something, many Americans now, they are scared to lose this health care or subsidies in some commodities or services. And now is when Americans are going to feel the pinch, and we're going to have recession in the United States very soon. In people, I predict a long time, we have global inflation, global unemployment, and additionally, we're going to have economic recession. And if we continue with these policies, in 2 years' time, we have economic depression, like exactly in 1927 and 1933, that United States coming a very deep recession and complicate the problems for all the Americans, for rich and poor. Now we need
Mario,
to wait.
I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Greatly
you.
appreciate your insights, though. Professor Mario Arturo Ruiz Estrada from the University of Kuala Lumpur, my guest, as we were showing you pictures there from the US Congress.